How's everyone? Today in this video, as you guys can tell, I'll be talking about the WWE Draft 2016. Of course, this will be my thoughts, reviews, recap, whatever you'd like to call it. Of course, this show took place on the SmackDown Live episode that debuted on Tuesday tonight on USA. In this video, I want to discuss mainly about the draft that took place on the actual SmackDown show itself. I know they had, a cemental draft, on the WWE Network. Not really going to talk about that too much because all the draft picks really were just like the mid-card to lower mid-card guys. So nothing really eventful happened on that. And honestly, that entire thing was just, it sucked. That entire supplemental draft on the network after the show just sucked. And I will be talking about a little bit about the main event, which was Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship as well in this video. So, yeah, of course, like I said, draft immediately starts opening the show. This is something that everyone's looking forward to for a few weeks now, so this was highly anticipated. Open the show, of course, with the picks, the first round picks. Of course, Raw getting the first pick over SmackDown. Raw gets 3 picks, SmackDown gets 2, just because Raw's 3 hours and SmackDown's 2, so it's kind of balancing more towards Raw's favor. So Raw definitely had the more advantage for the picks. Of course, opened up the first pick for Monday Night Raw was Seth Rollins, which to me was very, very predictable and expected. And SmackDown Live countered it with drafting Dean Ambrose. So Ambrose and Rollins to me were obviously the first 2 picks, and obviously going on Raw and SmackDown. So nothing really eventful for the first 2 picks. They're big picks, but just nothing that no one saw coming. The second pick for Raw was the Women's Champion Charlotte, which to me was a pretty big shock. Just because, well, it wasn't a shock she saw on Raw, but it was a shock that they picked her so early on in the show. I definitely thought she would have been saved for like a 3rd round pick or something like that, but definitely not the first round, let alone your second pick. So Charlotte was a pretty big shock to me in the first round. And then SmackDown Live being smart, they picked AJ Styles, which to me was a great pick because I really want to see AJ on SmackDown when the draft was announced. So very happy that AJ Styles on SmackDown. And then close out round 1, Raw selected Finn Bálor from NXT. Very happy about that, even though I think Raw's roster is, the Raw show right now with the rosters is the not must-see show. SmackDown to me definitely has a better roster if you ask me. But I'm just happy Finn Balor is the main roster. I definitely think Raw needs more notable names than SmackDown has, so I definitely think Finn Balor being a Raw for right now is the best thing. So just happy. It's been pretty much 2 years in the making for Finn Balor. He should have been called up a year ago, but it is what it is. Just happy now to see Finn Balor finally in the main roster, so extremely excited about that. And that will close out the first round. And then we go to the second round match, or second round picks, not match, which is open up again for Raw, which drafted Roman Reigns, which to me, very predictable pick. I was very happy with it too, because like I said, to me, SmackDown is a more must-see show, so the fact that Roman Reigns is on Raw means I really want to deal with him on SmackDown. So, could care less that Reigns is on Raw. It is what it is. Expected it anyways. SmackDown Live drafts big match John himself. John Cena's on SmackDown. Very, very excited about that. And again, he was someone when the draft was announced. I was really hoping he was on SmackDown rather than Raw, and he is. And I definitely think it was the right move to put John Cena on SmackDown, and I'm very, very excited about that. Definitely expect to see great things from John Cena on SmackDown. I just think it's a fresh breath there to see John Cena is exclusively on SmackDown rather than Raw. So definitely something that's been, you can argue maybe 10 years in the making, maybe a little less than that, because when he went to Raw at first, he wasn't leaving right away. So it's been quite a long time to making see John Cena on SmackDown. And then, of course, Raw retaliates with Brock Lesnar, which to me was another obvious pick. And then SmackDown Live selects Randy Orton. Very happy about that. I've always believed Randy Orton's been better on SmackDown. Just look at his 2011 run there. He was great, and I'm very excited to see Randy Orton back on SmackDown. And of course, to round out round 2, Raw selected the New Day. So Tag Team Champions are now on Raw. So very good round 2. Then we go to round 3, which Raw selected Sami Zayn. Very good pick there. I think they made the right decision by putting him on Raw rather than SmackDown. Then the SmackDown Live selected Bray Wyatt, which I didn't really care for. I'm not a fan of Bray Wyatt by any means. So to see him on SmackDown, I could care less, to be honest. And then a pick that pretty much disappointed me was Sasha Banks going to Raw. I really wanted Sasha on SmackDown. So to me, it was really disappointing to see Sasha go to Raw rather than SmackDown. And to retaliate that pick, SmackDown got Becky Lynch, which to me is whatever. I like Becky, but not as much as I like Sasha Banks. And then the last pick for round 3 for Raw was Chris Jericho, which it is what it is. Then we go to the 4th round. Excuse me. Which Raw selected Rusev with Lana, of course, which, again, pretty disappointing because I wanted to see Rusev on SmackDown, but it is what it is. And then SmackDown Live to retaliate, the U.S. Champion going to Raw. selected the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, to go to SmackDown with Maurice. So happy about that. Kevin Owens with the Raw, which disappointed by that because I really want to see Kevin Owens on SmackDown. I wanted Sami Zayn on Raw and then Kevin Owens on SmackDown. To me, that just would have made more sense, but you know, it is what it is, like I keep saying. And then, of course, SmackDown Live retaliated with Baron Corbin, so Baron Corbin's on SmackDown. And then, of course, Enzo and Cass were the last picks for Raw in round 4. And then we go to round 5, which Raw selected Gallows and Anderson. So the club is going to be splitting after Battleground now, since AJ's on SmackDown, Anderson and Gallows on Raw, which I don't mind. I actually do like that, because that way AJ can be on his own, and guess what? Finn Balor is on Raw. He has history with him as well, the Bálor Club. So I think this is pretty much transitioning the club into the Bálor Club, which I don't have a problem with. So Anderson and Gallows, I would have loved to see him on SmackDown, but you know, since Balor's on Raw and they're probably going to form the Bálor Club with him, I don't mind that at all. Then we go to a pick that I was very, very excited to see. SmackDown Live selecting American Alpha from NXT. If you do not know, I'm a huge mark for American Alpha. I absolutely love Jordan Gable. I think they're the best tag team in WWE right now. Not even just NXT, but in WWE in general. So I'm very, very excited to see him, especially on SmackDown. Because like I said, the whole point of this video for me is SmackDown's going to be my show. I love SmackDown. I've always loved SmackDown. For like a year or two, I always loved Raw more than SmackDown, but I've always been a SmackDown more guy. And even the last couple of years when no one's been watching SmackDown, I've watched SmackDown every week still. So I've always been a SmackDown guy. So I'm very happy to see my favorite tag team in SmackDown, and I feel like they can shine more in SmackDown anyway. So I'm very happy American Alpha is on SmackDown. Raw gets Big Show, which who cares? And then SmackDown gets Dolph Ziggler, which I don't really care for. Dolph Ziggler to me, it just seems like he doesn't even want to be there. So he doesn't want to be there, I don't want to see him. So Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown is what it is. And of course, Raw rounds out their last pick on round 5 with Nia Jax, which to me is just whatever. I can rant about it, but she should have stayed in NXT, bottom line. And then we go to the last round, of course, round 6, which is the last round on the USA Network. The first pick was from Raw, was for Neville. Would have preferred him on SmackDown, but they have him. That's fine. And SmackDown Live gets Natalya. You know, nice. I guess you need some females on SmackDown, so that was a nice pick. Raw also got Cesaro, which I really wish was on SmackDown as well, because I think Cesaro could have shined easily a lot more on SmackDown. But you know what? I think on Raw he does have a better chance of being a main event guy now, since Raw has less notable names. So I do think Cesaro has a better chance of becoming a world champion there, perhaps. So it could be beneficial for him. And the last pick for SmackDown Live was Alberto Del Rio, which I don't have a problem with. And the last pick for Raw was Sheamus. So that was all the picks from the USA show. I think it was a very fun draft for the most part. Then we go to like I said, the draft on the Sawmill draft was pretty much nothing. But before I get to that, my thoughts on that real quick, I want to discuss about Ambrose versus Rollins for the championship. It was a short match. It was about maybe 10-15 minutes long. Very, very short compared to their match on Raw last night, which got a lot of time. It was almost like 20-25 minutes the Raw match got. So the match was fun. You know, it wasn't anything that's significant. You know, Rollins attacked Ambrose right from the get-go and tried to do a cheap shot and, you know, took him down to, you know, bring advantage towards him. But, of course, it didn't really bring the advantage towards him because Ambrose ended up retaining at the end of the match with the dirty deeds onto Seth Rollins. After Rollins went for a suplex and, you know, Ambrose fell on his feet, turned around for Dirty Deeds and hit Dirty Deeds for the 1-2-3, so retains the WWE Championship. So, you know, the match was fun, like I said, but their match on Raw last night was way better in my opinion. Got a lot more time, it was just a lot more fun. Even with the finish, I think the finish made more sense, and I think they should have went into Battleground with that finish. I don't think they really needed a rematch on SmackDown, but you know what? I guess they won that big main event for the first SmackDown Live, so fun match, but the Raw match was better. And then, like, quick thoughts on the Sawmill draft. Like I said, just garbage. Let's see if there's any notable names I really care about. Just some, you know, I didn't really care for most people going any of the shows. I do think, though, that SmackDown did still get the better picks from the Sawmill draft anyway, so I'm happy about that. Some notable picks were Alexa Bliss to SmackDown, which I'm very happy about. I'm a huge fan of Alexa Bliss, even though I do think she should get a run with the NXT Women's Championship. It's good to see her on SmackDown going forward. Mojo Rawley. Fuck you. Then Carmella got, drafted to SmackDown as well, which I'm happy for her, but I do think she's another person I would like to see NXT stay a little bit longer and perhaps get a NXT Women's title run under her belt as well. So I don't really have a problem with her, but besides Finn Balor, and no disrespect to Carmella and Alexa Bliss, because I love both of them, so nothing towards them, but besides Finn Balor and American Alpha, the NXT picks were fucking garbage. You're telling me fucking you would rather pick Nia Jax, Mojo fucking Rawley, Carmella and Alexa Bliss, because I have no offense to them, I love them. You'd rather pick those four over Bayley, Samoa Joe, Shinsuke Nakamura, Austin Aries, anyone else pretty much that's ready to go to the main roster. To me, it was just stupid, and I think their logic was, well, we need to get some, not the top names, but some decent names in NXT to go to the main roster for this draft. It's so irritating, because it's like, you had 6 slots, and you couldn't have brought up any other notable names besides those ones, and I feel a huge letdown, from the draft for NXT. Besides Finn Balor and American Alpha, I thought the 4 picks were just not necessary. I think they definitely need to stay in NXT too, especially Nia Jax. She needed to stay in NXT for sure. Mojo Rawley, the dude just sucks. So I don't know who just played me with the NXT picks, but for the most part, I had fun with the draft. The SmackDown Live, I thought it was a very fun show. Metal Draft, like I said, I thought it sucked, but it is what it is. And I feel like the rosters. I look at the rosters. I definitely feel SmackDown Live has the better roster of the two. Raw just had a lot of mid-card guys and just people I think don't want to see, like the Shining Stars, or whatever. I think they have a lot of guys that people just tune out to see or turn the channel on when they're usually on TV. So I think SmackDown definitely has a better roster. Definitely going to be Team Blue for this brand split. Please, if you guys like in the comments below, leave your guys' thoughts on the draft itself. Leave your guys' thoughts on the picks. Leave your guys' thoughts on the brands, which brand you prefer more over the other. And as always, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video.